as I see the audience, as I got to know, is from a mixed crowd. People from other fields also are there who are not specifically from aviation. So we have a very basic introduction on that. So in aviation, when we are talking, it could be military aviation and also civil aviation. In civil aviation, we have private and commercial parts. Here we are discussing about civil aviation. And when we are looking into the airports, like an airfield which is equipped with ACT facilities and facilities for passengers and for also cargo is called an airport. Here, typically, we are talking about the passenger terminals and that part of it, and we are not touching about cargo. In a terminal, when we see the place where we have the flights landing and taking off, and where passengers they come and go, it is a terminal. And landside of an airport terminal is the area which is towards the city. So it has access to the city roads as it contains parking area as well as the public transport. Airside of an airport includes all areas which are accessible to the aircraft, including the runways, taxiways, aprons, ramps. So here there are few pics. So we are introducing all these terms because in the due course of the presentation, we'll be touching upon all these aspects. Now coming to the word airport capacity, it is defined as the maximum number of operations, which are arrivals or departures, that can be performed during a fixed time interval. For example, it is for 15 minutes or for 1 hour at a given airport under given conditions such as runway configuration and weather conditions. For example, for terminal, it is generally like 5 million passengers per annum or 35 millions. It is all per annum. When we are looking into a cargo terminal, it is generally we use the word like so many tons of cargo. So now another aspect which we can briefly touch upon is the level of service and the optimum level of service and airport development reference manual. So earlier in the airports, it was like we used to have level A, B, C, D, E, F. But right now, what we are doing in the design is we are looking at the optimum one. So optimum is the range, and anything which is below that would be suboptimum, and anything which is given above that will be an over design. Now, this is just an example. Like the design is just not space, but it is a matrix of space and also time. For example, when we are looking into check-in, we have people who are passengers who are in the economy class and who can go through like business class, which is the premium one. And what is the time which is given and what is the space which is given. For example, in the ADRM for check-in process, it is 1.3 to 1.8 square meters when we are looking at for space. When we are looking at optimum timing, it is for boarding, pass and tagging, it is 1.2. Baggage drop, self-baggage drop, it is 1 to 5 minutes. And for a traditional check-in desk is 10 to 20 minutes. So keeping these parameters, the design comes into picture. So this is the way in for all the areas of the airport journey, whether it is security, passport control or boarding gates. The governing principle is also space and also the time. So now we'll come to our the theme, brownfield airports. We have two kinds of airports, which is greenfield airports, which is absolutely done on a fresh land, undeveloped land. Everything is new there. Whereas in a brownfield airport, there is already an existing terminal and existing airport for which there is some remodeling or addition which is done, some demolition which is done to make a holistic new one. So that is called an brownfield airport. Two examples are given from Delhi, like the upcoming Noida International Airport is a greenfield airport, and the terminal one, which was recently opened, is a brownfield airport. You can see the red dot there. So that was the existing T1D departure. The remaining part was all added. So that is an brownfield airport. So why do we have an requirement for brownfield? Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. So why do we have brownfield airports? Like we have briefly discussed airside, terminal, and landside. Suppose it is upgradation of existing airport infrastructure on the air side. Like it could be now any of the runways, or you are adding a runway or doing something to it on the air side. it is a brownfield. Or next, in case we are looking something for the terminal, we are looking for the terminal expansion enhancement. Typically, if an existing airport reaches 80% of its capacity, suppose a greenfield airport is designed for 5 million passengers. While it is in operations, it reaches 80% of 5 million passengers, then we need to start with the enhancement. That is a typical rule which goes. There are many things which come into place, the design, then the stakeholder concurrence, all these things. And PPP model is a private public partnership in which there is a free hand and there are many things which can be done. Along with capacity enhancement, it is also the look and feel. So one picture is given here. This was earlier terminal 1D before refurbishment. This is after the Brownfield airport is all constructed and which was open. And this is another area when we are looking into the land side, how it was earlier and how it is, another airport. And second aspect is the technological upgradation. This is one example of the PAC area, which is pre-embarkation security check area. This is another example. So in case there is too much of crowd and the given systems are, or whatever the screening machines, the throughput is unable to catch up with the demand, then within the same given space, the technological upgradation happens. That is like here, if you see the screening machine with divesting stations, here these are the divesting stations. And then you have body scanners like in this picture. In the same area, you have fast track systems, and that is how you have technological upgradation. Now another thing which we have is the Digiyatra, where your face is your identity. So right from the entry into the terminal to the screening to the boarding, everywhere your face is your identity, e-gates are open, everything. So the entire network is done using technology. So this can happen only when there is the upgradation of an existing system. So for example, when you're looking into the same e-gates, they just can't come on the floor as it is. There should be something, the wires which should go below the floor. The existing floor has to be chiseled out. We have to bring the new cables and the IT and the various services which come into picture. And it just can't happen in an operational environment. That is where we have certain barricades, certain rerouting of passengers, rerouting of processes. These are the things which happen in an brownfield airport. And sometimes it is the service improvements. Some carpet is gone completely. The entire flooring has to be redone. And the retail, maybe there are certain new concepts which have come in the shops and in the F&B or in the regular retail shops. Then the entire revamp has to happen. That is when the terminal goes into an expansion mode. It could be, once again, as I told you, on the air side, terminal, or the land side. This is on the land side. Typical land side is an area where passengers, they all come and they enter the terminal. They get dropped off. They can get dropped off through a metro or a cab or a private car or a train. Or there are so many modes of travel. Where all these modes of travel they combine is a transportation center. So these days there is lots of development which is happening on the land side. This is another area where brownfield airports are open. The areas are barricaded and new connections are made. Underline the tubes connections are given. And between a new terminal and an old terminal, an airport people mover is done. These are all the expansions which are happening globally. So these changes can happen within the terminal or within an area, some new area is taken to that existing terminal. In some cases, an adjacent land is also acquired. So while this entire process is going on, there are certain guidelines which have to be followed, which are from ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization, IATA, ACI, NBC, National Building Code, NFPA, PRM standards, and many national and international codes. Now we'll come to the design process. So in an airport environment, there is a master plan. For example, there is only a sample which is available on Google. If you see here, there is a terminal 1, there is a place for terminal 2, There is a Terminal 3, there is a multi-modal hub, there is an apron, there is a future cargo. Everything is already earmarked on the given piece of land. So first it is the Terminal 1 which is constructed, and once it reaches 80% of its capacity, the exercise is started for the Terminal 2. And once that is already done, then Terminal 3. And while the Terminal 3 is done, Terminal 1 would be fatigued. So when it is fatigued, then you have a beautification or upgradation of the Terminal 1. So this is how the cycle goes on. So once it is a greenfield airport, later it becomes a brownfield airport in all its expansions. So there's so much of interface which happens between various disciplines. So first we have the master plan, then we have various terminals, then we have the interiors, then we have the decor, and we have come to the unit part. So every time there is something, an upgradation which is happening. And there are n number of stakeholders, number of teams who are involved in the planning and design, concessionaires, maintenance, safety, security, ICT, all the passenger services. Name a team, they have a presence there. And there are many internal and external stakeholders like airlines, tenants, government authorities, local communities, suppliers, medias and unions. Everybody should be taken into cognizance. We need to have their approvals before going ahead. This is the main challenge. So already we have a terminal with already existing set of electrical, mechanical, plumbing, fire, IT. For an airport, this is baggage handling. So when you're doing an addition to an existing one, these all have to be cut and the new things have to be joined to that. That is the major challenge in a brownfield airport. The area where you are augmenting the services and capacities, when earlier it was maybe 5 million passengers, now when you're targeting 5 million, it is the AC load, it is the electrical load, the IT services, baggage handling, all these services, they come into picture. The way the earlier services were given their position, now how the new services will get added on to them is a thing which needs lots of brainstorming and lots of workshops and many site surveys. So in this area, the digital twin plays an important role. We had a chance of doing digital twin for a couple of major airports. And when you have a digital twin, it is actually a virtual model of the entire building. So what happens is if you slice that virtual digital twin, you can see all the services, including beams, columns, services, and all. So it's very easy to locate that with the existing scenario. So this is how the technology helps in brownfield airport. Simulations. Suppose we have a facade, we have roof. So the way they behave in presence of sunlight or various climatic conditions, it can all be done through simulation with various scenarios. So this is how technology plays a very important role in brownfield airports design. Now coming to the latest technology, there is an example of a smart toilet. Smart toilet is where you have so many sensors. There's a pic which is taken up from Google. So you'll have a dashboard even before a passenger enters. You'll know how many cubicles are vacant and how many are occupied. And in case the toilet paper is over or the soap dispenser is over, if there is a wet floor, immediately the information goes to the terminal manager, the office, and the team who maintains this, and immediately it is replenished. So actually, if you see in India, many airports are going towards this mode, and the Indian airports are on global map. This is an example from Delhi airport. So even before I was entering, I saw this board. So clearly it showed how many cubicles are vacant and how many are occupied. And the floor was all dry and the soap was all full. So everything is getting monitored through a smart system, which is called IoT, Internet of Things. And this is an example of a smart toilet. Similarly, when you're going to retail, I was in a Lucknow airport. I was pleasantly surprised when I did shopping in one particular shop. They said you are having some incentives. So I had gone to a food stall in my next shop. So suppose my bill was maybe 1,500. The 500 was the discount which was from my previous purchase. So they have taken only 1,000 from me. When I saw that means That is the machine learning which you are talking of. So machine has already taken me as a passenger, discount is already done, and for my pay, it just happened from one shop to another shop. It was maybe 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Already it is recorded, and my bill was only 1,000. So this is how a dashboard of various things are getting captured through machine learning. So latest technology, when you're looking, whether it is AI or machine learning or IoT or robotics or next gen, name a thing, there's a big list. This is all this is how the upgradation is happening in the airports. Whether it is monitoring the stocks in the retail area or guiding passengers through the boarding gates, everything is happening very seamlessly, and smart retail. So globally, these are the trends which are happening. Now, before I conclude, I would like to say only one thing. While we have the machine learning, machine things, robotics, it's all happening. The human touch is also coming up in a big way, because people want that personal touch. For example, sensory rooms. This is for the children with neurodivergence facilities. Sensory rooms, spaces for them are being created. Yoga rooms, family quiet rooms, pet therapy dogs. These are the new things which have come into the design of the airports, especially when the airports are going for brownfield expansion. Many and many of such inputs are going into it. So I would like to conclude saying that this is a very vast area, and what we have touched upon in this 8 minutes and 9 minutes is a minuscule giving an overview. Um, I hope the concepts were understandable, and these are few examples when we are looking into the passenger experience. When any airport is getting upgraded, either in the terminal or on the land side or air side, the passenger experience is the mantra. So in these new areas, the waiting will be very minimal. The innovations, it is limitless, and the possibilities are endless.